Her background is
But-
nerd.
Darren should have gone to school here instead of Cutter, because you are a devil. I can tell you that right now. A minute.
She
early.
rolls in like she's a Hollywood movie star now. She just here, hey, she's just here for the camera.
I guess I tooted.
No hard-hitting questions here.
Yeah,
Shall
but-
we talk about my one sentence resignation?
Well, welcome again to the next edition of Spilling the Tea in Studio D. Again, the co-op road tour continues.
40th anniversary.
40th anniversary. I know y'all are not going to believe this, but
Yeah.
40 years ago, I graduated high school. That's when that started to sink in. I was like, dang, 40 years of co-ops.
They may not have been born.
They
I was
probably
11.
weren't. They probably weren't. Were y'all even born
I was
then?
born.
Yeah, I was born.
Okay.
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 How old were you in 85?
I was 15.
I was 5.
5?
Okay.
Yeah. So see,
11. Brandi
10.
wins.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And you've got a full head of hair, right?
That's
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, thanks for having us down. We are now at Wilbur D. Mills in downtown beautiful Beebe, Arkansas,
Yes,
right?
I've never been to BB, so.
This has been the cool part is getting to see all the co-ops and
Yeah.
the travel here and there and everywhere. So, that's probably the best thing I think about this whole thing.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
Getting to see everybody and
Right.
just kind of learn about everybody's backgrounds. and-
Right, exactly.
Yep.
So we typically like to start, Brad, we can start with you, and then you can pass the torch. Brad Horn, by the way, director here at Archford, and maybe tell us.
You mean Wilbur D. Mills?
Wilbur
not
D.
Arch-
What I say,
all
Archford.
right.
I'm sorry, it's on my
That's all
mind. I
right.
just left there. So
I get it
that Mark
corrected.
Taylor, he's an impressive cat. What can I say? He singes your brain, right? Yeah, Wilbur D. Mills. I'll get it in a minute. And we've only got how many more to go? Like 9.
I don't
think?
know, but
So,
you're
yeah.
going to get them all mixed up. Huh?
I may have to start getting cue cards from
Yeah.
me. I'm getting to that point when you get to be my age, right? But Brad Horn, Wilbur D. Mills. So maybe tell us a little bit about your story, educationally speaking, or just life in general. What led you to education, and then what led you to the co-op? And then we'll go down the road.
Yeah,
road
sure.
About that.
Yeah, so I graduated from Cabot, one of our
Okay.
member districts, back in 1990.
Okay.
I went in the Navy and then came back, got into education, and started that in 1999 was my first job. Actually
Yeah.
taught at Cabot where
Okay.
I graduated.
Wow.
Had to apologize to a lot of teachers that I'm still teaching.
Yeah.
So I spent 13 years there at Cabot in junior high, actually middle level, junior high, and secondary.
Right.
Before I became a principal, athletic director, and then superintendent at one of our other districts, one of our smallest districts, Carlisle,
Yeah.
before coming here 6 years ago as director.
6 years doesn't seem like it does.
No.
I mean, this is year 10 for me, and I can't hardly believe that. I've now spent a decade,
Yeah.
going into at the co-op, but it goes by quick. So what about the Navy piece? You kind of glossed over that. Appreciate your service, by the way.
Yeah.
So what'd you do there?
I was in a helicopter squadron. We
Oh,
did
wow.
search and rescue and anti-submarine
wow.
warfare.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
got out of that after one tour,
Uh-huh.
and then
Yeah.
got into education.
Yeah. Do you come from a long line of educators, or?
No, actually, there was no one in my
Right.
family that was in education.
Gotcha.
Uh, Very few had a couple of cousins that had a college degree,
Yeah.
mostly high school.
Yeah. So what pushed you there? Maybe somebody in school inspired you
Yeah,
to?
actually, an interesting story. I don't want to take up too much
No,
time,
yeah.
but my advanced biology, not AP,
Right.
but advanced biology teacher in high school, Glenn McDaniel, he passed away, but
Oh, wow.
he changed the way I thought about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I really, most of the teachers at Cabot couldn't believe I became a teacher. They
Yeah.
were very surprised.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
but he just, again, changed the way I thought about things, and
Yeah.
actually spent time with me when I came back home,
Yeah.
trying to talk me out of going into education.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought I knew better, and here I
Right.
am
Yeah.
28 years
Oh,
later.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting though that, and I think we all have that person, that that you think back and for whatever reason made you believe that. I tell the story of, of course I worked in radio before education, and went to a small school, Cutter Morning Star, but for sure, I mean we people cared about us, they loved on us, that kind of thing. And I remember, here I am, a guy going to go into radio. Lots of people are like, what is that, first of all? But I remember one of my senior year, one of my teachers handed me a money clip in the shape of a dollar bill. I've got to pull that out. I think I know where it's at. But anyway, she said, I know you're going to make it. And here's something to hold all that money in. Of course, in radio, it stayed pretty empty. I can tell you that. Because I'm one of the few people go on camera in public, they will admit I got into education for the pay raise. 'Cause it certainly was. So, but anyway, well, Brooke, what about you?
Well, I actually started at Archford
Okay.
Co-op, but I started there when I was 15 when the co-op first opened.
Yeah.
Mike Hargis was the first
yeah,
director,
Yeah.
and he lived in Leslie, and that's where I'm from.
Okay.
And his daughter was my best friend, and so he would take us, his daughter, me, and 2 of his sons, and we were child labor
In the
for
print
the
shop?
co-op in the print
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
And the first print shop was it wasn't really a print shop. We were collating papers all around tables
Right.
in an old cafeteria in Morrilton.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
that was my first
That's cool.
experience
Yeah.
with co-ops for sure. And then I started, I worked there through college, and then I got my first job working in special ed transition, getting kids jobs and teaching life skills and things like that. So then I kind of got interested in technology at that point. You know,
Right.
ed tech was really kind of picking up at that point. And so I eventually got my master's in instructional technology, and I worked for a nonprofit for a while. I got out of education for a little while, and then came back over here, and Jeff Williams hired me as
Yeah.
the first instructional technology specialist here.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And your roles somewhat shifted a little bit. Yeah. So
Yep.
your official title is
Assistant Director of Operations and Technology.
wow.
You know, Brooke's going to do a session for our principals next
yeah.
summer for AI, so
Yeah.
we're excited about it.
Yeah.
I reached out to her, and she was like, yeah, let me check
Yeah.
dates. So we're
Yes.
excited that you're
I
going
am
to come
too.
do that.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite thing to do right now
Yeah.
is AI. I worked with the district yesterday on updating policy and policy manuals, and using the ASBA model policies, and it's just immediate. Instead of having to
Oh.
spend
Yes, you're going to need
hours
to
and
teach me
days.
this. Yes.
Yeah. Take notes. Yeah. Because
Yeah, that's my
Candace starts cussing like 3 weeks in advance when she knows that's coming.
yeah,
you know.
ASB policy changes.
Yeah.
And then I
I
was
can
like,
do
no, I'm going to shift my attitude. I get to do this. I don't
Yeah.
have to do this. I get to do this.
But
So,
but
turn
she
it
still
around.
got to cuss a
Sure.
lot.
No,
yeah.
I didn't cuss.
Yeah.
I,
Too
I
bad.
wanted to, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Probably learned it from your director.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, he's a master.
Yeah, that's right. How to win frenemies and whatever.
Whatever,
you know,
yeah.
All that good stuff.
Oh, anyway, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, okay. So next on the chopping block down there.
Oh, yeah. So,
And this is Brandi.
Yeah,
you know, we
Brandi, yeah,
kid
yeah.
Brad, Brooke, Brandi. I was like,
right.
you got to have a name that starts
she's
with
really
a B.
Brandi, too.
I'm Brandi Brooke.
Oh, really?
Wow.
3 B's.
That's the 3 B's.
3 B's. I like this.
Wow.
Okay, Brooke. I mean, Brandi. That's it. I'm mixed
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
I mean, Brandi. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is my 23rd year in education. I actually am from one of our partnering schools as well. I grew up in Hazen.
Okay.
Went to school at Arkansas State in Jonesboro. Came back. Actually worked in Cotton Plant for a year, which is a part of Augusta now. And then I worked in Desert for a couple years. And then I spent 16 years at White County Central School District.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I've been living in the Wilbur world
Yeah.
my whole life.
Sure. Yeah.
But then I went to work for Crowley's Ridge with a federal grant.
Right.
We did peer, and so I did that with Miss Horn for a few years before coming on over to this role as the
Yeah.
Director of Teaching and Learning.
Okay.
We arm wrestled for and I won.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Barely.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it wasn't very nice.
Rock, paper,
So,
scissors.
so was ASU Red Wolves by then when you came
Yes.
through? Okay.
Yep, it had changed
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. See, I was there.
Actually, no, it changed over after I left.
Yeah, I was an Indian when I
I
was
was an
there.
Indian.
And the thing was, it's still somewhat of a debate. Some say Running Joe, some say Jumping Joe. I don't know. I just know we were Indians, back in the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I still have some of that old gear.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
do too. Yeah. It probably fits now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just about to
yeah,
say.
it probably fits.
Stop.
I'm actually in the same
Listen.
size pants that I wore in college. So, I mean, I'm embarrassed to say that, but I'm also saying, hey,
Oh.
I'm there. So,
Yeah.
anyway. So, enough about us. Yeah. So, the thing about co-ops we've been kind of talking about is the regional piece. And that's probably one of the things I think probably very important to the co-op system is the regional needs and how they're addressed at the regional level. Would y'all agree to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our 17 districts are much different from your
Right.
20,
20.
20 plus,
22.
right?
Yeah.
And then arch forward.
Right.
Everybody's
Right.
different. Everybody needs something different. But one thing I'd say about it is it's a regional approach,
Right.
but the collaboration among directors is
100%.
what's amazed
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
my 6 years. You know, I kid all the time about you probably going to block my number
No,
eventually because
no.
I bug you so much. But that's one of the beauties of the co-op is being able to lean on those other
Right.
directors and TCCs.
Well, you know, the thing I talked about this in a couple other podcasts too, but, you know, this is year 10 for me. But in the beginning, it wasn't really that way. It was really dissected regionally. And if they had a good something going on, they didn't really want to share it or whatever. But we're in a time and space now where I feel like everybody, you know, TCCs, directors, everybody's on the same page and making sure that we're doing everything we can to ensure student success and support our schools,
Yep.
you know, in order to make that happen.
All
So
kids.
It's been
Yeah.
kind of fun to watch. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, the other thing about, you know, the regional approach, what I found too, in each of the regions, we all have similar schools for the most part, as far as size. I mean, there may be one or two anomalies, but, you know, for the most part, everybody's got a large district, everybody's got a pretty small district and something in between. So, yeah. So, you know, what you say, this is year 6 for you?
That's right.
Yeah. So, what are some of the, would you say, maybe biggest challenges that you've had to endure in those 6 years?
Behavior
Yeah.
has become
Yeah.
a big issue, even
Yeah.
in the 6 years I've been here, and we've tried to
Right.
help districts with that,
Yeah.
you know, by forming consortiums, and that comes with its own
Yeah.
problems because you
Right.
want to, again, with a regional approach,
Yeah.
you want to serve them all equally,
Right.
but it's kind of difficult to do that.
Yeah, and we talked about that's one thing I think that gets overlooked. I mean, we talk academically all day long, but a hungry kid that's not eaten lunch since the day before, when it comes down, let's just say testing or whatever. I mean, if we don't have those other supports in place, it's hard for that kid, and I get it, to get successful, but you know, I think the role of the school has changed tremendously. I mean, it used to be wake up, you know, you go to school, get your learn on, and then you go home. But you know, the diverse backgrounds that our kids have and where they're coming from, that is something that we've seen change over the times. But I also think, you know, co-ops are a great resource for helping, you know, to you know, help raise the whole child. So you know, that part is that part's challenging, but it's good work, I think. So Brooke, with you know, instructional technology, AI, you know, people hear AI, I think, you know, most people they're very limited on what they know. So what are some of the things that you've brought to the table to, you know, to make people really and truly work more efficiently, and some of the tools and you know, things that are out there? So what are you seeing right now that's helping schools out?
Well, ChatGPT is, of course, what, you know, most
Right.
people think of when you think AI,
Yeah.
and it's wonderful. The key to using any AI is prompting, and,
Right.
you know, just having the conversation. That's what I teach people is you're having a conversation. You're
Right.
not just Googling, you
Yeah.
know. But a real game changer for teachers has been Magic School. And it is a resource that teachers can use for lesson planning, for rubric building, IEPs, and the prompting is already done for them.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so they just put in the information, the specific information that they have, and it just builds these things for them. It's such a game changer. It really is.
Well, and you're so right, that prompting thing. I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've had to learn. I mean, you know, I'm very, you know, basic and direct, and then, you know, I find them prompting me to prompt them.
Yes.
You know, but once you get pretty proficient in that stuff, I mean, I'm just amazed at some of the things that it's able to, you know, produce, and you know, at the speed of light almost. But you still have these folks that are all that AI stuff. You got to double check, and well, I mean, that's just like any resource.
You do,
I mean,
yes.
you've got to do some checking, you know. But more and more of that. I mean, it's again that's just. I mean, that's education. I mean, if we don't learn to adapt, and put some of these things to use, I feel
Mhm.
like we're going to be left behind on lots of levels.
Yep, grow
And so
learn.
are our students.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
We have
absolutely.
got
Yep.
to teach our kids how
Yeah.
to use this because if they don't, they will be left behind.
Oh, they will be, and you know, we've seen in some instances too. Some of the kids really get it, and it's awesome to watch them kind of, you know, teach the teacher and the other students in the room because but I think it's a great resource. It's not like they're going in and say, I mean, maybe they do. Hey, do my math homework, so you know I don't have to. But obviously that would become pretty apparent on a test. But I just think there's a lot of things out there that AI. I mean, there's one, for instance. I wish I had my pictures, but I plugged in my picture for a professional headshot. It was dead on, wouldn't y'all say? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I can't believe
sure.
people don't agree, but it looks that way to me. So that's
maybe like
that's when
40
I started.
years ago.
That's when I started believing in it because it was spot on. So yeah, good stuff.
maybe
there.
when the co-ops were created. Maybe then.
Yeah,
maybe that
maybe.
day. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
You know, on AI, we did strategic planning two summers ago,
Oh, yeah.
right? And we kind of asked our superintendents what they wanted, and Brooke had kind of gotten into AI some,
Right.
but actually Dr. Thurman,
Yeah.
who's with you now,
Yeah.
he spent a pretty good bit of a board meeting talking to us about AI and how we need to get out in front of it.
Yeah.
And Brooke's done a great job of really taking off with that,
Yeah.
getting us up to speed and also helping everybody else.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, to me, that's one of those things that, again, a lot of people, you know, dabble in it. But when you get somebody that's an expert that can come in and basically show you really how to maximize it, that's where it really makes a big difference in my mind is knowing what you can do. So,
Yeah.
So, Brooke, what about you coming in? Got your I'm sorry,
Brandi.
Brandi. Sorry.
I've done it too. I've had Brooke or Brandi Singletary.
Listen, hey, at least he didn't call you Brad, okay? I mean, can we say?
B1
at
and
least?
B2, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, okay, Brandi. So coming in, anything, any challenge that you've met so far that you weren't expecting, or maybe something about the co-op,
She's
maybe?
like, which challenge? Yeah.
Well, I told them they're not allowed to say anymore that this never happens because
Yeah.
every Monday morning something crazy happened at
Oh,
this
yeah.
co-op this
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
a crazy summer.
That
It
is
was a
so
crazy summer.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, the cool thing I think about co-op for me are two things: is, you know, the opportunity to really impact more kids. That was a draw for me, and then the culmination of the skills that I've learned through the years to bring to the table. You know,
Yeah.
and so talk about that a little bit. I mean, you've had a very varied background. So
Yeah. So, and actually working with Peer before I entered here at Wilbur was really helpful too because I'd already built a lot of relationships
Right.
with
Yeah, with your district.
the schools that I wasn't in. Some of them were partner schools with Peer.
right.
And so our big thing was, you know, talking to them about instructional models and really like digging down into their strategic plan and being specific. And I think we're getting there with everyone now.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of those things too. I think, you know, coming in, even Mark and I talked about this a little bit this morning. Even being on the board, coming in, you know, lots of things about the co-op I thought I knew, but there are lots of things about the co-op I figured out I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I try to put myself back in that seat sometimes as a superintendent / board member, and what would I have wanted to know. AI is a great example. I mean, you know, some of these things that are out there that, you know, they don't necessarily have the time and energy to pour into it, you know, at a depth level. But, I mean, you guys are able to dig in. They may give you a certain challenge or a certain whatever. And, you know, we have the time and the expertise a lot of times to get in and help them. So, you know, some things they call about, we took a call, you know, maybe, you know, some of the test score type stuff and how this was said or that was said. I mean, sometimes it just is what it is, and we got to figure out how to work toward that kind of thing.
Yeah, we
so.
talk a lot about, you know, just the fact that we get to take things that we've learned from so many great educators over the years and share, and then even going into schools and saying, hey, that's pretty cool. Let me take that and share that with this district. You know, it's just that kind of, it's really awesome.
Yeah, just like you were saying about directors, you know, doing that now where co-ops are sharing. I feel like districts are opening up more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
share with
absolutely.
one
Yeah.
another
I
more.
agree.
Yeah, and you know, that's another thing, you know, a recent example of that, had a new superintendent, had a specific thing he was working on, and through Candace and I talking, kind of spitballing out loud, we, was named another superintendent that was, fairly new, but in real similar situation. Said, hey, give this guy a call and maybe, touch with him how he worked through that. And so, it's absolutely, you mentioned the relationship word. I mean, that's so important, obviously. And that's the thing, through the years you continue to build on. Like you're saying, you started out with peer, got to know these people, and now, they'll come to you, they believe in you kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, how many schools y'all serve?
17.
17, okay. And you said probably Carlisle, all the way up to Cabot. So,
Right. Cabot's the largest, and then it's probably Augusta. I would
Yeah.
guess would be our smallest district.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that we've come to realize at times, sometimes our larger districts, they're staffed in a way they may not have the need of a medium to small size school. But when the call comes, you still got to be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'll say this, as far as like Brandi said, and you mentioned collaboration, serving on the board.
Mm-hmm.
When I could come into a board meeting during our kind of discussion session and hear what Dr. Thurman was dealing with, how he did it, it was either validating for me because I've dealt with it or something similar. So I thought, man, I did that right. But then I also had times when I needed to revisit it, and do it differently. So and I talk about this to our groups, how you don't just serve, like if your enrollment's 600, you're not just serving 600 kids.
That's right.
You're serving 32,000 kids.
That's
because
absolutely
all
right.
of those superintendents and all of those other job likes are feeding off what you bring.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's really the collaboration is beautiful.
Well, yeah, and the job alike thing for us is, a lot of times, we think of the traditional job alikes, principals, assistant principal superintendents, curriculum, and there for a while, media specialists kind of did and went their own thing, but within the last couple of years, they've called on Katie to bring that group back together. And the cool part about that is she facilitates probably more than anything, but just getting that group together. And like you're saying, to discuss common challenges, common successes, I think is good for anybody. I told Candace even way back when, as an assistant principal or principal, going to our co-op, I could remember at the end of the meeting or whatever, they'd pass the old basket or hat around, and you'd throw in something you're dealing with, and just to pop that out. And we've done that again recently.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, because sometimes they won't ask out loud, so they'll do it anonymously.
Yeah, and when they do it, it's kind of cool to watch everybody, that wants to, how they handled it, or hey, I didn't think about that kind of thing. So, but yeah, it's it's a good place to be. Probably, without a doubt, it's been my favorite place to be, in education. And again, I go back to, that true north, which is being able to impact more students with what we're doing. So. And sometimes, we talk about this a lot. Sometimes you get to that, just to that level, thinking, well, I've got to go in front of this group or that group, get a little intimidated, thinking this one's been at it for 30 plus or whatever. But finally, you just get to the point where you roll it out and you do it. So because I tell you what, most of the ones we've had, if they've been at it a while, they don't mind telling us, do they?
No.
If we're not doing it,
That's right.
one certain way.
Oh.
So,
What about funny stories? We funny stories, teaching, principal.
Probably this summer, like Brandi said, was nuts. We did every day say that's never happened before, but we had two armed. Starting the day, I get a text. There's 2 armed individuals, so BB's on lockdown, the whole city. So we've got, I think we had 100 plus coming that day. So what do? You call them and say, hey, BB's closed down. Don't come here. And then we had presenters that just didn't show up. After they had email confirmations or conversations and flooding, all sorts of stuff Brandi's had to deal with. But I'll say this, and getting away from the funny story, every experience I've had as a leader, I've not been successful without the people around me.
Oh, 100%.
And that's, I think I feel better right now than I've ever felt in my life in leadership with the team that I've got. So Brandi handled all of it like a champ, but she even had to go in and be the presenter on one.
Oh yeah.
I don't even remember what the topic
oh yeah,
was.
he looked at me and he's like, "Oh, can you present that? Are you serious?"
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
we go.
sure, here we go. Yeah.
Monitor and adjust.
Oh yeah. Well, and you know, like that old saying, you know, you hire good people. And it used to be, and you know, you hire good people and get out of their way. But I heard a guy about 5 years ago say, "Hey, I hire the best people I can hire, so we'll make each other better." He said, myself included. And I've really kind of taken that approach. I think part of my legacy will be the ability to put together a good team, and like I say, try to stay out of the way of that good team. But I've been blessed pretty much everywhere I went. But the thing is, when building those teams, the cool part, as much as I hate to give Candace any credit, was having, you know, past experiences with her. I knew what she did as a teacher and some of the things, and got to hire her as an assistant principal. And then, so, you know, when the TCC job came open, I knew what I was getting. And so at the end of the day,
she said something nice. Y'all better mark that down.
that's the thing,
down.
I think, in this position that allows you to do that is go out and, you know, like you're saying, you're only as good as your team.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that's
so,
true.
For sure.
Yeah, that's true. Talking about crazy stuff happening, Darren just knows I just roll with it at this point. Like,
Right.
something always happens. Like, I'm a big planner, type A, and at this point, it's going to go wrong. Like, First Admin Institute, we ran out of food, and I was kind of like starting to freak out and was about to send them to go get chicken sandwiches. We got it worked out, but anyway, always. And so now I just laugh about it. I'm just like, okay, it's just God telling me that you can't plan everything. Stuff's going to go wrong. So.
And that's the thing, obviously. I mean, I'm not a worrier. I mean, God's kind of blessed me in that arena. You know, you can either worry what's going to happen or just know something's going to happen. And so I'm proud to say, under my tutelage, Candace has gotten a little bit better
Yes,
at
I've
that.
learned from you and Donald. Like, that's what I try to tell people. I'm like, look, I used to be like super type A, and I've learned over the years, just like, it's not
now
that big of a deal.
She's just type A without the super. So
Not just type A, not super. Calmer type A.
So what about teaching, though? A funny story as a teacher and or a coach, that those kinds of stories. We've all got them. So
embarrassing moment.
Oh, I have a funny one.
Okay, let's hear it. Yeah, here we go.
We love them.
My friend would love this because we actually go to church together, and I don't know why her kid said this, but it was hilarious. We were having a pretty bad day in second grade, and we were lining up, and she looked up at me, and she's like, "Miss Hardcastle, we just need a drink and a cig, don't we?" And I said, do not say that. I was like, I didn't know you were mom. I think you were serious right now. I was like, we are not getting drinks and cigs.
We're vaping. We're not smoking cigarettes.
Oh, my gosh. That's awesome.
So, Brooke, I know you've got to have one in the tank somewhere.
The only one I can think of, I can't tell right now. So skip me. I can't think of one.
Can you make it PG?
I'll let her think about it.
I can't.
This didn't happen to me, but a close friend of mine was teaching elementary school, and they were doing the ooh sound.
Oh, yeah.
So he's, I hope I can, I assume I can say anything.
Oh, yeah,
here.
absolutely.
Yeah, you're good, whatever.
So it was ooh,
Yeah.
right? I won't say it right, but he asked the kid to say it, and he said, Hooter.
Yeah. What grade is that? Elementary, probably.
Yeah, that'd be elementary.
Oh,
Yeah, it was younger grade.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. You talk about rolling up your sleeves and doing what has to be done. And Candace told this story earlier, but we had, our maintenance and house cleaning guy. You know, he retired or whatever, so we were a bit of a lurch. But Candace and Veronica stepped up and were doing trash for a couple of days. Just hey,
for the week.
For the week.
Yeah.
So anyway, they go in there, and then we finally get somebody on board, right? Got the new person coming in, and like our admin assistant out front's kind of walking her through, checking keys and all this stuff. And one of our local districts, Arkadelphia, has the building, is in one of our buildings. That's their admin building. And so when she was walking around the other morning, she said, "What happened to those other two ladies? They not work out?"
She said, "No, they didn't work out." I was like, "No, high five, Veronica. We didn't work out."
Yeah. So, but I mean, honestly, it's things like that. That's that true cooperative spirit. I mean, if something happens, I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
You step in.
you just do it. You don't think about it.
It's like your word for the year. You just
Yeah,
move and do
that's
it.
right.
Move
Yeah,
is your word.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, and that's the thing. I think, you know, as you go through this stuff, and I'm sure you get it, but, you know, some days we'll have folks just call and say, I just needed a vent. I'm good now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, or
Yeah.
let me, I want to make sure I'm thinking right, or, you know, and so it's kind of cool to have those conversations, to be able to lean on your past experiences to say, hey, look, you know, you know, although as bleak as it looks, it will get better, and it always does for the most part. So
It just hit me. Your walk-up song could be "Best to Move"
yeah,
because your
that's
words
true.
moved this
That-
year.
There you go. That
Yeah.
should be it, right?
You guys
yeah.
have you read One Word? Is it John Gordon?
Yeah.
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 Him
yeah.
and a couple of guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Darren's done that forever with Leadership Team. I've
Yeah.
Right.
done it since
Yeah.
Fountain Lake. We
Oh, yeah.
worked together.
Yeah.
It's
I
really
think we
awesome.
did that this year with
Yeah.
Morgan.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, it's such a simple premise. You know, when we all did our time down there at Marvel Elaine, you know, I had my business manager. You know, Candace was like, "You're going," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." She said, "You have to go." I said, "That is my 30th wedding anniversary."
Yeah.
So anyway,
I said Tanya won't care.
yeah. So we went, and of course, my wife said that was probably the best wedding anniversary you could have
Yeah.
given me. You know.
Yeah,
But
I told you.
all was
She was
well
happy.
when the car of out of tune women sang happy anniversary to her the morning of. So, but the one word thing we did with the students down there, because if they weren't in math, literacy,
It was like one of their other
yeah.
subjects that you
Yeah,
guys were.
so-
Well, it could have been social
Yeah,
studies.
it was social studies,
Yeah.
because when we got there, they were all over the place, and I said, well, we'll do this, and just to watch those kids walk through that process, and at the end of the week, we bought them little poster boards to paint and put that on there, but it's something, you know, like I tell people, like move for me this year. You know, I really try to stay true to that true north when the opportunity presents. It could be something as simple like, you know, my wife and I were over mowing my parents' yard, and the neighbors, you know, were going through some health stuff and it looked like a jungle. I just told Mom, I said, hopefully we won't make them mad, but when, you know, in my mind, needs to be done, move, get it done, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, lots of opportunity out there. So,
Yeah.
Yep. Good word.
So, I mean, if you could hang your hat on something maybe you think you guys are known for, I mean, it's hard to probably nutshell it down to a 1 or a 2, but what would you say some of the strong things are you guys are?
I'd say just service.
Yeah.
Well, one is all of the carbs we have here
Oh, yeah.
for
Oh,
snacks.
absolutely.
I hear that a lot.
Us too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hear that a lot.
Yeah.
I hear it a lot. But
Yeah.
but really just service, and we hammer that home
Yeah.
every meeting
All right.
that
Yep.
it's part of our name,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
So we're going to do, as long as it's legal, we'll do whatever
Yeah.
our districts ask
Right.
us. So I think
Yeah.
that's probably where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
There's
one of my
nothing-
favorite things is
Yeah.
because you get up every day and you get to help people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some
Yeah.
days it can be like taxing,
Yeah.
but you still
Yeah.
you're getting to
And
help
every
people.
day's different because you
It
don't
is.
know what's going to be coming in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where I can really equate this job to radio. I mean, you know, every single day was a different day. And that's what I love about this job. I mean, you know, Candace and I joke, she is a post-it queen, you know,
Yeah.
so, and
I
I
like
just,
my list. I'm
well,
sorry.
that's what I
like-
say. If I had a list, the first thing I would do
we're like,
would
I'm a list
have to throw it
girl.
away
Yeah.
and restart. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? There are certain things I feel like I have to check off, but you know, this is such a front-facing service that organization or whatever you want to call us. That I mean, you know, our lists quickly become secondary, and it should, you know. And but yeah, Candace is the list queen.
Yes, it keeps me organized. He
Yeah.
makes fun of me because he has we have access to our calendars or whatever, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Ah, "Good grief, you have a reminder to remind you to
Yeah.
do that." I'm like, "This is how I function
Yeah.
because my brain is like
Yeah.
ADD, and I have to function like this."
Yeah.
So
And
anyway.
I'm proud to say, going on a year and a half, Katie, I'm all electronic now.
finally, we finally converted him
They would
to an
ca-
electronic
They would
calendar.
call and say,
Right.
"Where are you at?" They're like, "Your calendar set," and I'd be like, "I'm looking at my calendar. Which one? The one that I wrote on, not that one." So
Yeah, we're done with the paper
Yeah.
calendar. You're switching.
what
I
they-
would verify that he's really electronic or digital. We had
Calendar.
I had
Yeah.
Let's
one
say
of my
calendar.
principals, first principal I ever that hired me at Cabot.
Right.
He was a football coach too, back in the day. But It was when Palm Pilots. Remember when they
Oh,
first
yeah,
came out?
yeah.
So the superintendent bought them all. All administrators
Oh, yeah.
had a Palm Pilot. So
Yeah.
he's up there at the back-to-school staff gathering and says, Dr. the new superintendent bought us all a Palm Pilot, so I want to use my technology. So he pulls it out to introduce all of his new staff. Well, the superintendent's standing behind him, and it's written on a piece of paper taped on top of the Palm Pilot. So I would verify this digital
That
news
is
thing.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
still
good.
keep parts of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I'm on the phone setting up something for myself, I mean, I'll write it down, and usually it gets put over. Some days it doesn't.
It's kind of
And-
like whenever I was teaching, and I finally let go of the grade book and just did all electronic.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "I can't believe you did that." I'm like,
Yeah.
"I know, me neither, but it's great."
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
We have to be careful here with me with technology. My phone. We actually had another incident. Somehow my phone texts without me telling it to text. So I sent a text to the superintendent this morning and had to call back and apologize. But I loved one of his texts, which I never send to
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
But it hearted it as I was walking up.
Oh,
so.
man, he was like thinking,
Well,
it's
he
like I
said,
hearted you today.
he said, "Thanks for the love." I said, "Well,
Yeah.
at least it wasn't a
Yeah.
pile of poop." And
yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah, Brad's
we-
on board for once.
I mean, I've had bad time with my phone. Now this
That's
wasn't
funny.
co-op related, but
Right.
Rachel and I are driving 12 miles down the road from our house, and somehow I set it up to record. And I had a 12-minute conversation that I recorded,
Yeah.
and then I sent it to our discipleship group at church.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so imagine where that could go.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
it was all safe. The
Oh.
conversation was,
No.
I think it was, are both of your chainsaws broken?
Oh, yeah.
So welcome to Brad and Rachel's world. That's
Yeah.
that's the highlight
Yeah.
of our conversation.
And-
Brooke, you're gonna need to get his phone
I
and
know.
check
And
this
the
out.
discipleship group was
He
like,
needs a
we got
new
to
one.
pray for Brad. He's
Yeah.
in need of a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Right.
One actually texted and said, "Hey, do you want us to read this 12-minute text, this 12-minute audio?" I said, "No, just delete."
Yeah, you can
Don't worry
put
about
that in the trash.
Oh, yeah, you know they listen to it all 12
Yeah,
minutes.
they
Yeah.
Probably so.
Yeah.
But wait, we did too, though.
Yeah.
We did too.
Yeah, I would have
just
been
to
like,
make
turn
sure.
it on right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
yeah.
to make
Oh,
sure.
yeah. So, Brandi, if you wasn't doing this, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't working at the co-op
Yeah,
this year.
in education or whatever.
Oh my! If I wasn't in education, what would I be doing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Dream number 2.
Well, you know, I from the time I was in second grade and loved my second grade teacher, I
Yeah.
said I was going to be a teacher.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I really never had
Yeah. Okay.
something else that I really
Right.
wanted to do. I
Yeah.
just I set myself to that and
Okay. Well, good.
finished it out.
Crime scene investigation.
Oh,
I can see that one. Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my niece likes that.
I think I'd be into that until I had to get real close to blood and
Yeah.
guts. and
I
then
would
I'd
be not into that
yeah,
at all.
Probably not. Yeah.
Maybe just the interrogation, trying
Yeah.
to read people and
I don't know
that
though.
kinda
My
thing,
wife
but-
watches anything with CSI attached to it, so I feel like I could be a pretty good one. You know.
yeah, Scott watches
Yeah.
it too.
I told her, I said, the only reason you don't watch CSI Jessieville where we live is because we don't have one.
Yeah.
But if we did, she would, I promise. What about you?
Policeman maybe,
Yeah, okay.
or fireman.
Yeah, gotcha.
Service.
Yeah, I
See,
guess
yeah.
so.
Service. I know.
Yeah. You know, and like I said, I'm one of the most blessed people walking the earth because I got to do my other life and live it. And it was funny through Red Ribbon Week, career days, that kind of stuff, getting in front of kids, you know, it's that old thing about God, you know.
Yeah.
You know, tell him your plans and, you know, he'll laugh. But he actually let me, you know, do what I thought I wanted to do. And he kind of laughed and said, okay, it's my turn. Here's this door. Let's walk through it. So, but yeah, I don't even know if you've ever told me what you'd be doing.
Oh no, we talked about this. I wanted to be a teacher forever too, but I'm a
Oh, yeah, it
I'm a
had something to do
former
with a
math
pole
teacher.
in it, didn't it?
no.
Yeah,
It did
that's
not.
what it was. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, up next, put your hands
Stop.
together for Candy.
You don't have a walk-up song
Yeah.
for her for more
Oh,
than
yeah.
Hey.
No.
Candyman. Listen to the lyrics, you'll understand.
Where is this podcast going right
Okay,
now?
go ahead.
I do have a funny story. Well,
yeah.
okay. Maybe I shouldn't tell that on
Yeah,
here.
yeah, go ahead.
I
Tell it.
will in a minute. But
Okay.
what I would do probably, because I worked through at Walmart through high school and college, and I was in the pharmacy a lot and loved the pharmacy. But I always wanted to be a teacher, and then I'm in college, and I hit a math teacher. I took algebraic structures. It was horrible. It was like no numbers, all proofs. My brain just, was trying to go get tutoring. I told my mom, I said, if I make a D in this class, I said, I'm going to change my major and I'm going to be a pharmacist. And she was like, okay, are you sure? And I'm like, I don't, like, I struggled.
Yeah.
But I told Darren, I was like, I think that helped me be a better teacher, because then my kids that struggled, you know, I could relate to that, you know, as opposed to if I just knew everything. But anyway, funny story about, so former math teacher that I worked with, Steve Hosey, he's a hoot. We had a blast all the time. I've worked with some great people when we taught at Lakeside. So we were at an AP training, and they have us creating, I don't know what we were creating, some kind of brochure for whatever. And he and I were working together. We're in there in the computer, and he starts talking about, what did he say? He said, she's got a website at sweetcandy.com. Bubbles is a stripper name. And I'm like, Hosey, like, this is, you know, like, we would cut up, like, we don't know half of these people, and they're dying laughing. And I'm like, shut up, Hosey, jeez. So we're like, we're joking around with it. I'm joking around with him. So we get up to do our presentation. Of course, we have smartboard, whatever. We're facing the audience. They all bust out laughing. And we were almost to the end of the presenters, you know. And I was like, I'm looking at him like, does something on my face? I'm like, why is everybody laughing? He goes, I don't know. And so they couldn't even speak. They were laughing so hard, and they're like, turn around. We turn around, and the screensaver comes up on the smartboard. The screensaver came up, and it was Bubbles. The instructor, she said, we're done for the day. Like, it was so funny. I was like, oh my gosh. But anyway, you got to have fun.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
you know.
Yeah, and I mean, she's spot on with that, obviously. I mean, the work we do, you know, and I tell this story, but it's better in video form. But, you know, you got to take your job extremely serious, but you can't take yourself too seriously, because there was a time at Fountain Lake when I was there. We had a teacher-student inappropriate relationship. So, you know, Channel 4, 7-Eleven, they don't say, hey, can we come? We're on our way, so all that. And so, you know, long story short, get home that night. It's been a long day. 10 o'clock news rolls up, and, of course, it's the headline. And then they flash up this picture of a guy that said, and it was a neighbor they were talking to, literally had like 3 teeth, a hoodie on. And underneath it read, Fountain Lake Superintendent Darren Beckwith. I had people from across the state that I thought were dead calling me and go, oh, my God, you let yourself go. And about the only thing that guy didn't say, you know, had a Marlboro in his mouth talking about the tornado taking the chicken coop down. I mean, it was so – I learned right then, you know, you've got to let some of this stuff go and take it for what it is.
I mean, you just got to learn to laugh a little bit. You got to have a little fun.
So is this a self-made sweatshirt?
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, stitched itself. It looked like it. So, but yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, it was, but it was what I needed at that time.
Yeah,
I tell you what,
that never gets old when you show that.
No, I know.
Laugh so hard.
Well, we appreciate y'all letting us come out, and man, just keep doing the great work. I mean, obviously, you know, I say this everywhere we've been. I truly mean the fact that, you know, been in it 10 years, but, you know, just the camaraderie and the collaboration across the state is, I mean, it's been the best it's ever been as far as that. And I think that's because, obviously, I mean, we're fighting the same fight. But we got lots of like-minded people that, you know, they're interested in you know, doing what we can for student success.
Got that heart for kids.
Yeah, got to have a heart for kids. And you know, that's been, like I said, that's been one of the coolest things, you know, in the 10 years I've been doing it is watching, you know, I guess that shift a little bit. But good group of professionals out there, you know. And the thing I love, you know, if there's something we may have a need for that we know we don't do or can't do, I mean, we'll pick up the phone and call.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody.
Like I got a hold of Brooke.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah, great example there.
Yes, a great example. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, and you know, like I said, the coolest part about what we're doing is getting to go out and see all the co-ops and, you know, just the opportunity to see some of the great stuff going on. So.
Can I give a quick shout out?
You can.
Yes.
Since we're talking about that, you know, you have Michael, and there are Michaels and, you know, technology coordinators across the state. And we are such a close-knit group. We work, we meet almost every week, and we do the same thing that you're talking about. We share ideas, and we learn from each other. And there are people who, you know, have different skill sets,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we really lean on each other.
Oh, yeah.
So that's also another
Yeah.
those job alike
Yeah.
groups that just we work really closely together.
100%. Yeah, and that's the thing. Lots of things that go on. I know, like disaster recovery plans and things of that nature, which used to be one of those things where you're like, oh my gosh, but now it's, like I said, that sharing of information makes it a little less painful, that kind of
Yep.
stuff.
For sure.
Yep.
And but yeah, it's I think about our co-op and the situation that Arkadelphia admin was in. They had a building basically that was condemned and had to find something quick, and we were able to shift some offices and put them over in a spot, and it's worked out. And so, but yeah, it's helping each other on the fly,
right.
saying because. I guess bottom line, that's one of the coolest things about the co-ops is the level of experiences and the varied experiences that are out there. I mean, you can pretty much find anybody that has a level of expertise most days with Candace. Not every day. Not every day.
50-50.
So.
I mean,
But thanks again for letting us come down here
Yes, it's
to
been a
Wilbur
pleasure.
D. Mills. See, I remember that
Yeah.
time.
Yay.
And, yeah. So but yeah, it's been a joy getting to get out and meet everybody. Y'all keep doing the great stuff you're doing.
Yes,
So.
you're
You
awesome.
too. We
Oh,
appreciate
thank you.
appreciate you
Yeah,
spotlighting.
enjoyed
Hey,
it.
no problem.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it for this edition of Spilling the Tea in Studio D. Until next time.